Bubba Shout the podcast, and that's right, a show about country at a time.
Gentlemen, welcome to Bubba Shot the podcast. First, the facts. That Ain't My Truck is a song co-written and recorded by Rhett Akins, or Rhett Akins, depending on who you talk to. Came out in May 1995. It was on his debut album. It was the third single, but the first one that he had any success with. On that same album, he also had, I had it pulled up a minute ago, two songs I actually like a lot. She Said Yes, which was his third single, which also did well. And, well, I can't find it now. Oh, I Break for Brunettes, which was his first single and did not do well, but I wanted to bring that up because I love that song. It's so goofy and a perfect 90s country song. The lyrics of that one are, I break for brunettes, blondes and Corvettes, redheads, I stop on a dime. They ain't made a bumper for my a sticker for my bumper just yet because, man, I break for brunettes. But that's not what song we're doing. We're still doing a song that alludes to driving vehicles, though, and that is That Ain't My Truck. It went to number 3 in 95 and number 7 in Canada. It was co-written by Tom Shapiro and Chris Waters, who we will get into. There's the show.
You know, I've never heard, I don't think I've ever heard I Break for Brunettes.
I don't think I have either.
Man, I remember those lyrics like as good as I do the lyrics to Gin and Juice.
I know She Said
around
Yes.
the same era.
Too, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even have its own entry in Wikipedia, which is what took me a second to find it when I was looking for it just now. Like, it doesn't have its own Wikipedia description of that song. I guess it didn't chart. I have no idea. I think what happened was he got some popularity, so they revisited his other singles. I'm not sure, but I liked I Break for Brunettes. It's really silly.
Well, yeah. Hell yeah.
This song is silly, but
does that
not
bring
that.
you, like, if you see a brunette, you stop and, you know,
Don't run them
upset
over.
her, ruin her day?
Well, no, it's, you remember those bumper stickers? It would be like, I break for deer, I break for birds.
But what does that mean? I don't run them over?
No, if I see one, I'm going to stop to observe it. And so it's a funny, it's not a real warning, but it's a warning to people behind you. Just so you know, if we drive by any birds, I'm stopping to look at them.
Yeah.
And he's like, if we drive by any dark-headed whores, I'm going to stop.
I'm in.
And
Whores,
probably
church
catcaller and all that type of thing.
Yeah.
You start to feel less bad about his woman cheating on him with another dude.
Tushar, well, you know, dude, it was a different
That's an interesting
time.
way to phrase that, Corey.
Catcalling hits back then. You know, everybody knew it. Tushar, very quick, sort of, but not really catcalling story that I've told repeatedly, but never on here because it hits for me. The three of us, me, Corey, and Drew, were in L.A. once. Fucking traffic out the ass. I think we were in Beverly Hills. We were coming from like a lunch or something. And so, you know, fancy shit everywhere. We're at this big intersection. And the crosswalk had already turned to the hand. It had already turned to stop. But in the middle of it, sauntering through, taking her sweet ass time, was this knockout bombshell, you know, 9 out of 10 at least, Beverly Hills woman, just strutting her shit through there, but obstructing traffic, right? And so Drew, the windows are down because it's a nice day, and Drew goes like, he goes, "Hey, sweetheart," or something like that. You know, it sounds like the start of a he's like, "Hey," like the start of a cat call, and then he goes, "Get the fuck out of the road,"
which she deserved so much,
and it really hit for me, and I assume it hit for anybody else that happened to have their windows down and heard
Did
it.
she
at
react?
The time. Do
she
what?
got the fuck out the road.
But yeah, that's my favorite cat calling story. I don't have a lot of them, but
I think that that's enough for this episode, fellas. That's pretty good. All right, let's get right into the lyrics because Corey's already alluded to what I think the question of the day is as far as these people's relationship.
Yeah, and I was wrong.
But let's get into it. The first line, she's been going out with him. She's been going out with me. She said she'd let us know by tonight which one it would be. So I waited by the phone, but she never called me up. Had to know what was going on, so I drove by her house, and sure enough, that ain't my truck in her drive. Man, this ain't my day tonight. Looks like she's in love, and I'm out of luck. That ain't my shadow on her wall. Lord, this don't look good at all. That's my girl, my whole world, but that ain't my truck.
So funny.
So funny.
Just the idea that is like, well, he had a moment where he had to realize
that ain't my truck.
He's in his
I'm in my truck. If I'm in my truck, how could that be my truck?
The math is like, okay, hold on.
It's
so
funny.
Possible that this ain't your truck. No.
It's such a funny way to phrase, she's fucking a different dude.
I love it. I think it's
perfect. I think it's great.
Like, it's like, I feel like this is one of those, in my opinion, and it was co-written. So, but like, I can't remember what it was. Some song we were talking about previously where I said a similar thing, but I feel like the people that wrote this song, whoever originally had the idea, I feel like when they had it, they had to go, oh, we're on to something there.
Right.
I feel like you just know immediately, like this could work for as a country song. I mean, because it's just like, I don't know. It just plays. It is silly. And like what y'all just did, that's super hip for me. But like, I just feel like it's like a perfect 90s country song, like a concept for one.
What's the divorce song that has a similar concept?
I'm going through
the big D and don't mean Dallas.
No,
I can't believe what the judge had to tell us.
No, that's a great one.
She got the palace.
Oh, it's Toby Keith. It's Toby Keith.
It's Toby Keith. It's about how
that's my those ain't my kids in my yard. Who's this man running my life?
Yeah. There goes that man running my life or living my life.
Living my life, I think. Yeah. Or running. Yeah.
Toby Keith, somebody we will get into next week on Bubba.
That one's a lot. That one's a lot more hardcore.
It's super sad. Yeah.
I'm about to say like that song.
This is just
thinking about going through that.
No,
fuck,
because this
is like
one,
whatever. Fuck
yeah,
that.
Look, we weren't exclusive.
What is this about? That's okay. That's what I want to get into
because she's not cheating.
There's only right. It doesn't say she's cheating. There's only two options here. From this first two lines, she's been going out with him. She's been going out with me. But then you go down to the chorus. That's my girl, my whole world, but that ain't my truck. There's only two possibilities. And I think I know which one it is, or definitely which one I think it is. Either these are some very progressive dudes who are full on in love with this girl, been dating her a while and allowing her to have the time, or these are both fairly new things. But this guy's the type of dude, and we all know this type of dude, who like 3 dates in, you're my whole world. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I mean, I was going to
say the latter.
I mean,
it's the latter too.
I think he just fell harder for her because, I mean, dude, not to make myself sound like a huge pussy, even though I will, like, Amber was my whole world long before I was even anything to her.
He started at a lot of trucks.
When did you start being anything to her?
When I moved back from New York.
Yeah.
Now,
more than a friend, you mean?
Like dude, one of the reasons I moved to New York is because she was my whole world and she didn't want to be with me. And I was like, fuck, man, I need to change the scenery. So, I mean, I get this is just a dude who, like, there's always, a reacher and a settler in every relationship. And this was the guy who really loved. Yeah. So I think it's the latter.
Would have hit if you'd have said, well, I'm hoping for 2023. Maybe that'll be my year.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Everybody's been through some version of that. It was a reverse for me and Andy at first, where, like, I meant a lot more to her than she did me. Then I came around and she was like, it's too late. Fuck off.
Right.
So I did to Australia.
Yeah, they always like you more when you don't like them.
Exactly. You have to fuck off to New York to get it.
I was about to say, I was dating another girl when I came back, and she was just like, okay.
Tushar, what's on your heart?
The thing about this song, the fact that it's about trucks, and the one thing I'm very familiar with growing up in Alabama is that trucks were such, like, all my friends worked for years to lift their truck and get a bigger tire. It was so tied to their masculinity that it makes sense that being like, that's his dig, it's not my dig. I don't see my dick in the driveway. So it's like, it's such a perfect metaphor for what's trying to be.
Dude, I did not even think about truck in the driveway being the metaphor for dick in a butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my, for our old, but don't sponsor this show, but Blue Chew, that was the song I did for them. That ain't my dick.
But that ain't my dick.
Yeah.
Let's talk briefly before we go further about the other two songwriters. Well, first of all, Rhett is listed as one of the songwriters, and I know Too Short, you always like that. I like that too. The co-writers are Tom Shapiro, who's a record producer and songwriter. He was given Songwriter of the Decade Award by the Nashville Songwriters Association once upon a time. He has written more than 50 top 10 hits, including 26 number ones.
How many of those were for George Strait?
According to what I've looked, I haven't read all of them, but that's not listed in his general biographies ever.
I bet you some of them was.
My favorite one, I think, from the ones I know about are either I Miss My Friend by Daryl Worley, which is a fucking gut-wrenching song. And
Daryl Worley also...
Ain't Nothing About You by Brooks and Dunn. Go ahead, Joe.
Daryl Worley also wrote him a 9/11 song, which... Well, you know, we're not on Toby Keith. My bad. We just either way, he did write a 9/11 song.
Just if anybody was wondering, he had a 9/11
song. He had a 9/11 song. Yeah.
The other gentleman, Chris Waters, his full name is Chris Waters Dunn. He is Holly Dunn, who is a country singer's brother. He's written hits for Lone Star, Terry Clark, Billy Dean. He is interesting because he has a master's in creative writing. He graduated top of his class from the Culinary Institute as America and has had 2 careers as a food critic and writer and as a country music songwriter, which I think is pretty wild.
Yeah, man, this guy's right up my alley.
White writer.
Chris Waters. Chris Waters is a white writer. Tom Shapiro, I think Jewish, but that counts as a white writer. Anyway, great pedigree from both those gentlemen. You always wonder how it went down in the songwriting process when you got an up-and-comer like Mr. Rhett Akins. Did they fix a song he already had? Did he have a big enough dick metaphorically at the time to just demand to be one of the songwriters?
Right.
I always wonder about that.
Or did he just, like, during the process realize, like, oh, that don't fit, I'm going to add this in there, and was like, well, technically, you know.
Or you just do that just to make sure you get some of the money as a songwriter. Well, anyway, the video, let's talk about it. It's the only video that I've seen from this era that lists the director and the credits up front. I just wanted to note that. I don't know why they did. I searched that director. She only has one other credit, another music video for a pop group that I'd never heard of. So I don't know, what her career otherwise was.
Wait, there's a video?
Yep. And her name was Mary Newman Said. Tushar, you good?
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
Okay. Well, good, because I did want to talk about a few things in the video that I found funny. First of all, I looked it up. It's shot in Arizona. I thought it was shot like at the Joshua Tree. I was like, they just got a production company out of California, and it was cheaper to fly the talent there or something. Because if you're trying to convince me this is West Texas, I guess there's parts of West Texas with cactus that big, I'm sure. But, anyway, it was definitely Arizona. Those rocks and all those mountains. I thought that was funny that he was trying to pull 90s country, but he was clearly in, Arizona or California.
I'm not good at knowing stuff like that.
Well, I was going to say it's because I travel a lot, but so do you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying like the West Texas port, like, oh, they don't have cactuses that big in West Texas. Like, I definitely know if I'm watching a show and they're trying to pass something off as the South, and I'm like, there's a fucking palm tree right there.
It ain't never green enough.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't know, like, no, West Texas is not known for having that large of cacti.
Well, I could be wrong about that. That was one of the things, was that giant cactus behind him. I was like, that looks like Joshua Tree or Arizona. It was also those rocks behind the cactus. West Texas is flat.
Yeah, right.
Very flat.
There's no place with cactus that big and rocks that high other than Arizona, maybe Nevada and California.
I'm cactus dumb, too.
Yeah, that's all I meant.
I'm married to a cactus queen. Plus, I've driven across country a bunch. Tushar,
there's a national park all about cactuses.
Where's that at?
Arizona. Can't remember what it's called, but I found that. I thought that was wild. I was like, cactuses got their own national park, but they do.
Tushar, you watch that video?
I'm about 2 minutes in. What a missed opportunity to play out the scene that we opened with of just like skirt, like just that moment of confusion. Yeah, I just love that.
Well, it opens with him playing football, seemingly with both of them, which that's quite a choice. Right. He's throwing her a football, and then she goes and flirts with another man with that football in her hand. And I thought that was quite hilarious myself.
Yeah. I like the shadows of him choke slamming her or alluding to it.
Okay, that was one of the things I want to talk about. We might as well bring it up now. I want to show y'all something. This really tickled me a lot. My man's is getting undressed.
Oh yeah,
he's behind her, and he's taking his shirt off, but he's still got his cowboy
hat on. Yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
You don't take your hats off, Joe?
No. I mean, now that I'm married, yes, but like, no, dude. Back in the day,
it's out completely, but it's funny for me to. I never thought about that.
Yeah, no, dude. Back in the day, I kept my hat on. I'd turn around backwards. You know what I mean? Because for angles.
Yeah. We were at a party at Waylon's house, and I had to pee, and I could hear some of our comedian friends going to town in the room that I had to walk through, but I had to pee so bad, and I was drunk. I just had to do it. So I walked through Waylon's basement, and I looked over, and a guy we know, we'll call him Beth Jank.
I was about to say, I know exactly who it is.
Was going down on somebody, and I just hadn't seen him without a hat yet. Then in my life, like I'd known him about a year. I just hadn't seen him without a hat yet. And the Too Short, he got like red hair, and he's ring bald, and it's long. So he's got a skullet. That was one of his bits about how he had a skullet. Dude, it was so goddamn funny that I just laughed the whole way to the bathroom.
Looked like Bozo the Clown eating a cobbler.
Eating at the Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Y.
I accept both of those.
What, I didn't hear what you say, sorry.
Bozo the Clown eating a cobbler.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was Mama's biggest dish, that cobbler. Anyway, this scene was one of the first ones that I picked out to talk to you guys about. It's just so funny that actor was either instructed or on his own took his shirt off before he took his hat off. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, he's waiting on a phone call from her at a payphone.
Yeah, what an idiot.
You had to back then.
That's true.
What about
I guess he's homeless. Yeah. Why? You're right. Why wasn't he at home? It's funny because like waiting by any phone, I don't even question it because it's just like, yeah, well, y'all know how it used to be. You know, I had to.
But a payphone?
No, you're right.
How do you even call a payphone?
The number.
They got numbers on them.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she didn't choose you, dude. You gave her a payphone number.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Another thing about the video, and this alludes to what we were talking about up top, Corey, it showed him going on several dates with her.
Mm-hmm.
Or the longest date in the world where she changed clothes. So, like, what is 90s country world? How many dates can you take a woman on before you're like, all right, now, wait a minute. Are we a thing or not? And
realistically, like, that whole, I know that that's a thing where it's like, oh, yeah, we're, you know,
talking.
You see, yeah, we're talking or we're not exclusive. I'm seeing other people, blah, blah, blah. I know that's a thing. But when I was like younger, that was not so, like, maybe it's because rednecks are so goddamn territorial.
Possessive.
It's like,
jealous
look,
and shit.
If you're going to be doing that, you ain't going to be with me. Like, I don't know any dude that would have been like, now the dude, of course, could be fucking whoever he wanted. But like, I don't know any dude who, if they were like, yeah, we all go out sometimes, but she goes out with this other guy. It's like, that would not have happened.
I agree with you. I always heard I heard of that too, like that being a thing, and people do that, but I've never actually experienced it, not firsthand, or I've never known of a buddy or anything.
No. In the South or period?
But I mean, I lived in the South my whole life until I was fucking married with kids. It's not like I'm really out and about in any kind of you know, even
usually
dating adjacent situation. In
yeah,
California.
if someone,
I know everybody fucks everybody now. They're all polyamorous.
yeah.
All these kids out here, they all live
Well, I
together
was
in
gonna say-
house in their goddamn tents or whatever the hell else
Hey
they
man,
do.
I
Not
told you not to
working,
tell
tell you that
anybody
much.
about
But anyway,
I told you not to tell anybody about business. When I lived in New York, I worked for a catering company. All them kids would like be dating multiple people, and the other people knew about it. And I don't mean poly. I mean what you were talking about. Like,
right.
we've been on a few dates. Oh,
That's
it was
'cause they need
awkward. This
Jesus,
girl I
man.
fucked, I saw her
Well,
with another dude.
they
the
wasn't
next
raised
night.
right. That's why.
Also,
Buddy, they were all from fucking Iowa and Missouri and Mississippi. They moved to New York to be that way.
well, and that's a big city thing. Like in small towns, like you just couldn't do that. Like the two dudes were going to know each other. Like I'm not saying it didn't happen, but where I'm from, if someone in a relationship was also seeing someone else, one of the motherfuckers did not know about it.
Right, and it would be a fight if
Absolutely
when they found out.
I've been a part of one.
I agree with you. And so on that note, I may have seen it wrong, but does this video start with her like throwing a football with both of them?
Both of them.
See,
That's
like
what I was
that,
saying.
dude, that fucking
No.
never, never. That
That
dude
part,
would get called the biggest bitch that ever lived by all of his boys for the rest of
Both
time
of 'em.
immemorial. Yeah, both them dudes were. Yeah, I mean that's like hell.
I mean,
Even
that-
me right now, I'm like, no, fuck that.
No,
I guess
absolutely.
Katie ever leave me and I get back in the dating game and it's like I just meet a person, you know, we're taking our time and she's like, you know, I'm still on Tinder and I'm like, I am too. I could see myself maybe being okay with that, but I ain't going out with the other dude at the same time. Even fuck that shit.
That's
mean,
wild. That's what I'm saying.
Anybody wants to do that can fuck smooth off because that ain't
Mhm.
happening. Like, you know, we can be adults here or whatever, but I ain't trying to fucking throw the ball around with you and some other dude.
These writers, you know, they were grown-ups in the 90s and, you know, a couple of them were older. I do feel like it used to be a little different. Ironically, like in a weird way. I've heard my mom talking about how my mom was a teacher. I remember my mom talking about how possessive high school kids were and it shocking her or whatever.
Oh,
So, like,
they
I
were
do
in
wonder if that
Salina.
was
They
a
were
culture thing.
insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I've talked about it a lot and thought about it a lot as I've gotten older. Like, and I was the same way. I got over it earlier than a lot of them did, but like, dude, so the culture of that in Salina was fucking intense. People are crazy jealous and possessive there, and the guys and the girls both are, to an extent that's fucking wild. Like nobody trusts anybody in relationships. They all they act like they're very controlling. They act like they own each other. You can't do shit. I knew so many people. It's like if you were with somebody, you weren't allowed to talk to a member of the opposite sex ever. Like crazy shit like that.
My high school girlfriend was a sweetheart, but that was like the one area where it was wild. And like you were talking about with the talking thing, you know, I'd be talking to other cheerleaders. You'd be like, what were y'all talking about? It's like, I don't fucking know. Too sharp. What you got for me, baby? I know that you really didn't date in high school, but like,
I got to go right now. Y'all keep going without me. Love you.
Love you.
My kids. Bye.
I mean, being in New York, remember I went, this is about 4 years ago. I went on a date with this one girl, tall, white, pretty. And we went on a few dates and
tall, white, pretty.
And she, you know, it was fun, but at some point I was like, no, or, you know, whatever. It kind of was like, we'll see. And we ended up at a bar, at the same bar, and I was there with another tall white, and she walked in with a fucking replica of me. Like, it was like the same dude, and it was just.
You think
hilarious.
she just?
You
thought
guys,
it was?
y'all should have gotten married right then.
Yeah.
To the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switchies.
Did you think it was as funny as you did?
We both caught eyes. We never saw each other, talked again, whatever. It was like a blatant, like, okay, whatever. We got replacements. But this idea of like, this was almost like the beginning of this video was almost like a game show of like, who am I gonna pick? And, you know, the Bachelor, Bachelorette, it's like, you know, with the advent of those shows, toward the early 2000s when that happened, where.
No, I mean, those types of shows have been around since the 60s, though.
My name's
Yeah.
Brittany. I like
Yeah.
big trucks, getting
Yeah.
dick down, and pretending to like football.
But yeah, that culture, I mean, especially to compare it to the Indian culture where everything is so, like, at least my parents' generation, where everything was so guarded and your parents were the broker, and there would be like,
but did
the
you guys
parents are
not
shopping
date
around.
before that? Like, knowing that you couldn't get married, did you not like have people that you know dated around, even your parents' generation? Like, okay, my parents are going to decide that I'm gonna marry this dude, but I mean, I'm gonna go
But
to
until
the dance.
Right. No, it was very much that was a process. Your parents would decide, and the equivalent of that would be your parents have two good candidates, and then you pick one of them, and then you get to spend time, but the ultimate decision is up to the parents.
Like a primary?
Yeah, something like that. But growing up, you know, like in high school, I wasn't dating much, but I did see this thing where a girl was a guy's on or off. There was no, like, unless she was a complete whore, and the guys would date around, you know, so like there was a double standard there. But this song felt like a little bit of like borderline women empowerment, or like this girl is in full power of the situation.
It's up to her.
It's up to her.
That's why I wanted to talk about it up front. It feels kind of progressive for 90s country.
Right.
I feel like a lot of times though, it like usually is up to the girl. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, unless you're a super, super hot guy, like if you're a good looking woman can kind of just be like, if she wants to date a dude, she probably can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she can definitely get dick down. She might not be able to get someone to commit. That's another way it's progressive is, you know, she makes her decision and fucks him that night.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That's good stuff. Let's do some more lyrics because we haven't gotten through all this. I pulled over by the curb. I've been sitting here all night, wondering what it was I did so wrong that he did so right. I've thought of breaking down her door, but there's nothing left to say. That Chevy 4x4 says it all, sitting in my place. That ain't my truck in her drive, man. This ain't my day tonight. I love that line, by the way.
That's
man,
great.
This ain't my day tonight. Looks like she's in love and I'm out of luck. That ain't my shadow on her wall. Lord, this don't look good at all. That's my girl and my whole world, but that ain't my truck.
I think now that I'm older, the thing that he's wondering what he did so wrong that the other guy did so right is definitely eating pussy. Probably. You know what I mean?
And not having a phone at his house.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah, Larry had a phone. Fuck.
Fucking Larry had a phone. I could get a hold of him, you know? You remember that time we didn't talk for 17 days because you don't have a phone?
Because you couldn't just camp out by the fucking payphone.
Like she tried to call, but it was busy, so she just went with the other dude.
It's all right. Well, what are you gonna do?
I'm not gonna not fuck tonight. I'll tell you that right now.
Some drug dealer was on the fucking payphone at the time, and it was a busy signal. She was like, "Well, Larry."
Yeah, a dude named Bug answered. What's up? You need mini thins? What do we got here?
Oh, mini thins. Woo.
I love it that this is a shout out to Chevy too. Like, I got a Chevy. She didn't pick it, but
I'm glad you brought that up because I kind of wondered if that was also like, when I was little, Chevy and Ford was such a fake thing to care about. Like my uncle would be like, Chevy, cracked head, ever valve, rattles, oil leaks, every time. Like that's what Chevrolet stood for, according to him. Mm-hmm. We were a Ford family. My uncle's family who knew about cars were a Ford family. So I feel like when I was little, that was part of it. It's like, damn, she chose the Chevy.
Mm-hmm. No, that was a big culture war thing, dog. Like that don't really go on as much anymore. But like you were, it's like what's the fucking vampire movie? Oh my God, what's that shit called with Edward and there was Edward,
Team Edward, Team Snowden.
Yeah, whatever. But those, but Twilight. That type of shit. Twilight. You were either Team Ford or you were Team Chevy. Thank you, Tushar.
And I can't help but wonder if that's what gave Larry the ultimate advantage.
Right. And by the way, even if you weren't old enough to even drive, you still just like whatever your papaw drove. That was your family's crest.
Right. I mean, you had to, because Papaw couldn't pretend like he made a bad decision or a random one. His manhood wouldn't allow for that. He chose that truck on purpose because this company was the best.
Right.
And I remember the people would argue, the old men would argue at the gas stations, you know, and they would be like, well, the Chevy Camaro and the Corvette are two of the best cars, and the Mustang couldn't hold a candle to the Corvette. And then the Ford people would be like, well, I am a farmer, and Ford trucks are the best fucking trucks that there's ever been. I don't give a shit about a Corvette because I ain't a purdy boy like you. And the implication towards everyone was, you know, that you're gay.
Gay.
Like whatever you like it because you're gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every car company had an acronym. Ford's was found on road dead.
Ford was, I thought, fix or repair daily is the one.
That was another one. Ford, what's that stand for? Found on road dead. Some of the rest of them you can't repeat. There's definitely a racist.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
Explicitly. And it wasn't even a foreign car.
Pontiac.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. Not good at all.
But I did think Chevrolet was the most creative, though. It's because it's the longest word, and they had to really.
Right.
You know. Well, anyway, we've burned through it. Oh, I also wanted to talk about the disappearing woman in the video. That just hit for me, where she's laying in the back of the truck with him, and then she just disappears when that dog walks by.
Only a memory.
Great camera work in 1990. Whatever year, I've already forgotten. 5.
I like how old, like this seems like a younger man's tale, but they're straight mid-30s dudes battling over this girl, which
it seems high schooly.
It's very high schooly because if they're young,
Rhett had just come out. You know what I mean? He was born in '69, so
nice.
How old, so up top. So how old is he in 90? 26.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. He's 26 in 95. 26 now looks young. 26 in 95 did look 40.
It sure did.
Right.
I guess their choice was to let him play the part, and they wanted to because it was his first big single, or they could have hired an actor. Now, another weird thing about Rhett, I wanted to show y'all this. This is interesting. I didn't know where to put it in, so we're just going to do it now. Where is it?
I still love that moment. It's like, wait, hold on. That's not my truck.
Now. Is that him on the left?
That's him on the left. On the right is a gentleman named who goes by Thomas Rhett.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say.
That's his son. I guess his full name is Thomas Rhett Akins or Akins. I think it's Akins. This is the father-son country music duo. They sang this song together at his concerts.
Nice.
Father-son?
I think Thomas Rhett's bigger. I think he's a bigger star than his dad.
I was about to say I've definitely heard that name. I'm not like I don't participate in that world, but I've heard his name enough, which means he clearly has to be big for me to have even heard it.
Yeah. I just think that's wild. I mean, obviously we've got the Judds, but they were a duo at first. And then obviously we've got some people who's, you know, you find out like the Carter family, but I can't think of another father-son duo that had country music careers as big as these two's.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, Corey?
No, I'm trying to. I mean, you could say Willie Nelson and Lucas, I guess.
Yeah, Lucas is in country adjacent, but I think you're right. That's probably true.
That's the only one I can think of aside from the ones that you just already mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby Bear and Bobby Bear Jr., but Bobby Bear Jr. is not to either. Bobby Bear Jr. is awesome, but he's not. He didn't level up like these dudes did.
Oh wait, we're idiots.
Mel Tillis and Pam Tillis,
and also Hank Williams Sr.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's like such an exact one that, like, yeah, you forget about that one, but
yeah, you do forget about that. Rap song. I'm gonna go with. It's technically an R&B, but there's a rap verse on the original. It's not a remix, which is smell cologne. How'd you get it, damn? That's getting cheated on. It's a little bit of a stretch. What's the name of that song? Where Mystical has that great verse. Don't you hoes be lying when you talk to the Mystical.
Yeah, I can't remember that. I can't remember that song, but that's great.
Smell cologne. Damn, it's strong. How'd you get it on? Tell me why.
Is that the Isley Brothers?
No, it's
Stutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stutter, stutter.
I can tell you're
stutter,
lying because
stutter.
every time you're lying, you stutter, 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 stutter.
It's by Joe, and that's the line. He goes, "Don't be
Joe.
lying when you talking to Mr. Stuttering when you talking to Joe."
It's so fucking hilarious that Mystical had a feature on that goddamn song, and it went so hard.
It's so good.
True.
True.
Dude, I love that fucking song.
I really
love
loved,
that era.
Is Mystical still with us?
My heart? Yeah, no, I don't think he died. Yeah, it was by
so.
Joe. Stutter.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the lyrics though, because I want to remember what Mystical's verse was. Mystical's from New Orleans, right?
I mean, look, probably.
You know what? Sure.
I think he is.
I loved how in this song it goes straight to sulking and heartbreak rather than he's not angry. He's not going to get out of the car and fucking beat the shit out of the truck. Like there's no anger in him. It's just like,
well, he considered breaking down. He considered breaking down her door, but there's nothing left to say. I mean, it really is a pretty progressive song.
Would you like me to read the Mystical lyrics for you?
Yes.
Please
do it like an old timey something.
Quit you lying, heifer. Watch yourself. Yes, I'll give the whips, but leaving you out here by yourself. I'm keeping it gangster with all the tattoos and the platinum mouth. I was the rapper you heard about strapping up in the Waffle House. Right next to fellow brown-skinned gentlemen when I be sparking them out. And I'm way too cold for playing to let you come and dog me out. Should have known what you was up to when you got here. Get off my couch. Get. And I just can't change it. It's going to be good. Get out on your route. My bad, Joe. I seen it coming. With that nappy hair, she was running with docked out, wanting what you had. You let them set you up and you fell for it. Now it's sorry, my ass. That's what you're paying for it. You got the garbage, I got the trash can for it. The man ain't gonna stand for it. You better respect my flow. Don't be stuttering when you're talking to Mystical or lying when you be talking to Joe.
Kudos to Sir Cho and to Father Mystical.
Fantastic.
So good.
Great stuff.
All right. I think we need to rate this song because we're not going to top this. I do like this song a lot. I'm going to give it 2 and... I'm going to give it... I was going to say 2 1/3. I almost want to give it 2 2/3 just because of Tushar's sort of... Damn. That ain't my truck.
That's so funny.
And also Corey pointing out, I think it was Corey, that's really a metaphor. Maybe it was you, Tushar, for the truck in the driveway is the dick in the butt. All right, fuck it. I'll give it 2 2/3. I don't actually think it deserves it, but I'm in a good mood, and my man got his heart broken.
Yeah, coming from so Trey, by the way, gave it 2 1/3 earn hearts and added the addendum song hits, which it does. I am gonna, if I'm going from a purely songwriting standpoint, I would lean towards giving it a 2 1/3. But then if I'm going by just how much this song hits for me and how much I've always loved it, it's a 3. So I'll meet in the middle with 2 2/3.
Okay.
2 and 2 Shar.
2 and 2 Shar.
I think the video had a few big slip ups. It gave away the whole thing at the beginning with the cheesy ass football thing. The pulling up to the car once again, it would have been so funny, a little too comedic. So probably obviously they couldn't do that. But the song itself is like really sweet and sad. I'll give it overall 2 1/3.
There you go.
So we round out, average out at a 2.5. Before we got on the mics, Trey said he was going between a 2 1/3 and 2 2/3. And then when he left us a message that it was 2 1/3. I do wonder what it was that kind of brought it down for him. One thing I'll talk about, I've brought this up before. I don't want to be a broken record, but man, I really don't like 2-verse songs. Some songs can overcome it. The song we're doing next week overcomes it amazingly well. But I just I don't know.
There should have been a third verse where there's an ass whipping.
Yeah.
Or maybe he runs
or
into
he goes out and gets a new lady or a new phone line.
Or maybe he runs into him at the grocery store. You know what I mean?
A couple weeks later, him and this new girl, they have a wreck and they both die, and he drives by the crash scene and goes, "Hey, that ain't my truck." Yeah.
That ain't my blood on the ground.
Yeah. And was this song I guess not resampled, but redone a lot by a lot of other?
Not that I've ever heard.
Him and his son do it at his son's concerts now, but other than that, no. His son may be redoing it. I don't know. That might be why they do it at concerts.
Yeah, this seems like one of those, like, if there was a redneck karaoke thing, this would be up there and what to sing. I don't know if all the songs we have done belong on that list, but this seems like a really fun thing to sing.
I would love for us all to do this at a live show and Too Short to just be going, "Oh, that ain't my truck." All right. One thing that I'll reiterate next week, probably in the beginning, is that this is coming up on the end of season 1 of Bubba Shot the Podcast. We're going on a hiatus. We will have a season 2. You can still message us with requests or ideas for season 2. We're going to take some time. The boys are going to England. Tushar's got a lot of tall white women he's got to have sex with. Mm-hmm. So just want to let everybody know that this is the penultimate episode of the first season. We have the ultimate episode coming up next week, and then we'll be off for a while. We appreciate everyone, though, so much for rocking with us. And,
it's been fun.
That ain't my truck.
That ain't my truck.
Hell no.
2.5. Pretty good score. See yous, boys.
See yous, boys.
Bubba Shot the Podcast.